And last but not least, saving the best for last indeed, boy. Spiral.
Right.
Or Spiral for
Well, I surprised you
Saw.
wanted to do this because it came out so long ago. I was like surprised.
The reason being is that it was available online because not just that cinemas are closed now because of this lockdown that we experienced in Trinidad and Tobago, but yeah, I would not have gone cinema to see this at all.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? At all. And reason being, just to talk quickly, is the series that it's based on, right? So basically, this is a soft reboot of
Right.
the Saw series, right? And at a point in time, I actually rated the first Saw as one of the best movies of the 2000s, right? Over time now, I kind of realized, well, not really. It's actually one of the best horror films of the 2000s, like no doubt, right? It was really good, low budget. I should say, yeah, well, not even micro budget, but just low budget filmmaking. The tension that it was just, wow, it just kept you on edge, man, and it delivered on the blood, it delivered on the gore, and it just introduced the world to a new villain by the name of Jigsaw, this serial killer,
Yeah.
who's basically puts you in like these really deadly traps and kind of forces you to make a choice. So you basically have to suffer, basically go through pain to make it out. But if you don't, and there's a time limit, then you die, right? But the idea, and I'll bring this up in the review itself, is that if you come out of it alive, you kind of learn something about yourself because Jigsaw chooses his victims carefully, and it's always about, you're a scummy guy, and blah, blah, blah. So how you come to think, right?
Listen, the first film, it kind of get away with that, but the sequel's total nonsense. Like,
I know, that's what I gotta get to. Yeah. The sequels, however, all right, so there's 6 sequels, and then there's the Jigsaw film, right?
Right.
I stopped at Saw 5.
Right.
I was patient with
I stopped at Saw 2.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. I couldn't tolerate it. Like when I heard 3 was bad, I was like, nah, like forget it.
Yeah. And here's the thing, right? Because these shows were coming out every Halloween, right? Because the way how Lionsgate was doing this is like, well, we're not really gonna give you that big of a budget. Like
exactly.
Twilight was getting more money, right? But the idea was, look, we want to crank this thing out every year. We want to build a cult.
No, it was one of the when people started really figuring out, like at least rediscovering, I should say, the idea of good turnover rate. This is one of the films that did that.
Exactly.
The Friedberg and Seltzer films also was kind of doing that, right? Those really shitty films,
those god awful parody films.
But they made money. That's why they keep making them. Like, because
that's true.
Money.
Yeah.
Right. Same thing. This Saw franchise was one of the first. The new Halloween was at the time. You drop it, crank them out, next. And
exactly. That's how it is, right? Yeah. But because of that, no, you have to tell a story, right? And the story just wound up being centered on the Jigsaw killer himself, right? And just the legacy that he left behind, right? Because yes, he has a terminal illness, and then I believe is in the 3rd one or something like that, or the 4th one, he dies. I believe it's in the I believe it's that, right? I think it's the 3rd one. Because the 3rd one was this backstory, and we got to understand why he became what he was, right? Yeah, which was really, really unnecessary, right? But the reason why people went to see these shows, it's to see the traps, right? Just to see how far these directors could push that R rating, and the Venus trap in particular. I think I forget which film it was. I think it was 2. That will go there as one of the most iconic ones, just off the look of it alone, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it just kind of course, the big twist. Like everyone, each film ends with a twist, right? I mean, oh well, while all this was going on and the cops was investigating this, the killer was doing all this instead, and then they just play that dun 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 dun. They play the theme song and like, oh my god, and then they just give the twist like, okay, well, all right. Yeah, first one worked, like it totally worked. Like I love the twist in the end, but then with the subsequent sequels, it just got more and more annoying. So even when Jigsaw finally kicked the bucket. Sorry, he had a disciple. You know what I mean? And this disciple was was someone who escaped the traps, and
Right. The only reason, yeah, the
he
reason
or
I know
she
about that's
understood more
because,
about life, and
yeah,
he
yeah,
must
yeah. I
carry
heard about it.
on the tradition. And I was like, I believe this was around the time when 4 and 5 dropped. So when 5 hit, I was like, all right, I done. This is
Yeah.
shit. Forget. I done. So I skipped 6. I skipped 7. I remember Jigsaw, the spin-off came off after. But at that time, I was like, I just don't care, right? And last thing I'll say before your quick thoughts in the franchise, right? It pretty much helped start this subgenre called what I call gono, right? Some people call it torture porn. I call it gono, right?
Yeah.
Although I make the argument that Hostel did it way, way, way
Well,
worse,
yeah,
Eli
exactly.
Roth's one,
Right. Yeah,
where
definitely.
it really did feel like, oh, you just have to have a hard on for people getting tortured to enjoy this. And
Right.
that's not my kind of shtick though. Like I don't get off of seeing people getting suffering through pain though. But for me, what made the first movie work and why the other films kind of fail is the whole who done it, the
Yeah.
murder mystery
Right.
aspect about it, and
Right.
just really keeping you on your toes what will happen next, right? And it was effective. It worked, right? But just the other ones just kind of lost their way, and it just became just excuses to show characters in these traps and being tortured and trying to survive, and it just kind of lost the heart of what the movie was about, for better or for worse, right? But yeah, quick thoughts on just okay, I should say the two saw that you saw, and how you just feel about the series as a whole, even though you haven't seen the others.
Yeah. For me, okay. So the only reason I catch up or familiar with the franchise is because this guy, Adam, YMS,
Oh
he
yeah,
did a
YMS did a
he did
did
a
a
run
did,
through.
did
Yeah,
a
he did
run
a run
through of
through front. Right, and he just
yeah.
yeah, he
I
talked
I
about
I started watching the dub. I was like, my problem is that I feel like I had to watch those films to understand it. But I was like, because of the stuff that he bring up, because literally you'll be in Saw 5 and you'll see something, but it
yeah,
contradicts something that happened in a show
yeah, yeah.
before that. I was like,
And I
okay,
didn't know,
no,
I
I
didn't
good.
know until watching. I didn't know that the franchise really went off the rails like it did. Because what I thought it would have just been like crappier breakdowns and crappier versions of the first one. I like the first one is genuinely great, right? Love it. Great, great, great thing. I'm not a big horror movie person, but it worked. Jigsaw as I introduced villain was great. The second one was so much shit and such a letdown. I was like, nah, boy, this can't get like if the second one is so much shit, it can't get any better. Like I can't see it get any better. This is some Transformers nonsense. And then I was like, well, I'm gonna take it in. So I was like, about I was like, hey, tree coming out. I'm gonna watch it for Halloween. I had nothing else to watch. And then I heard it was really bad. I was like, and at the time I had no money and I wasn't going to. And this is before piracy on the internet was a thing. So I wasn't gonna do
Right.
that away. So I was like, yeah, go see the movie. The theater. I didn't have any cash at the time. I was like, I ain't gonna see it. Fuck it. Like I didn't have enough cash to worth spending my cash. And
Yeah.
that's it. I couldn't really get into like the franchise as was. I didn't only watch the YMS breakdown. Recently, Mr. Sunday did a whole breakdown too. But
Okay. I'll
yeah,
look for it. Yeah.
yeah, but
Because I just really do. I just don't
not the
want
time.
to. I just don't have the time and the patience to watch through those shows. Like I
Right.
didn't even like watch over any Saw films, right?
Yeah,
Prior to
yeah,
watching this. So
yeah,
why should I, right?
yeah, exactly.
And I
And so
have
that
no intentions of watching Jigsaw at all. Like,
yeah,
sorry, I just do it.
it's a franchise that they'd learned the turnover rate, but the creativity suffer, like real suffer. So it was like, yeah, moving on.
Yeah, and speaking of moving on, this is where James Wan, you know what I mean, got his break, and
Yeah,
well, he's moved on to bigger things, right? Now,
yeah,
not
yeah.
just the Conjuring universe,
An
but
actual,
Fast and
he's just
Furious,
an
bro.
actual talented filmmaker.
He is,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely, right? So now for Spiral, right? So the funny thing is, like, I learned this happy fact. So Chris Rock, like, really like because yeah it stars Chris Rock, right? Like he actually like really wanted to get into the horror genre, right? You know what I mean? So it's not just comedies and dramas, right? He want to do a little horror thing, right?
right.
Probably inspired by Get Out, right? And the success that Jordan Peele have or something. I don't know. And apparently he met someone from Lionsgate and he pitched him this idea. So it's like, okay, so Chris Rock interested, okay, they get him on board. But the catch is, well, because it's Chris Rock and because, he's an icon by now. He had to be in the show, right? For this thing to sell. And to be fair, right? To be fair, this is actually probably the first time outside of, say, Carrie Hughes or oh gosh, Danny Glover, who in the first film, where you really have like a big A-list actor, you know, helping your film that basically helping the Saw film basically, right? So yeah, so basically, oh yes, and not just him. Nick Fury himself, Samuel Jackson.
Right.
Yeah, he had this too,
You know what's you know what's
which catch me by
you,
surprise when I saw the
right.
trailer. Like, what?
The only thing that was interesting about this for me is like it gets some shockingly big names for it now.
Yeah,
Like okay,
Max Minghella and all too. Like,
yeah,
what?
right.
What? Okay, yeah. Anyway, so what is it about, right? So Chris Rock plays Detective Ezekiel Banks, right? He calls himself
Yeah,
Zeke, right? And basically they try to do the whole Serpico thing where he call out some crooked cops back in the days, right?
right.
And the people of this, the department kind of don't like he head because, oh, you a snitch and you a rat, blah blah blah, right? And he is aware though he eventually becomes aware of this new series of jigsaw like murders, right? But they assume basically it's a copycat killer. It is a copycat killer, right? Because yeah, jigsaw is dead, right? It actually opens with a pretty gruesome death actually, involving a guy and his tongue being clasped, this basically like this blades being um clasped onto his tongue basically, and he's suspended over like this tunnel basically with the subway basically, so he has to free himself or else he gets hit by the subway train, and you pretty much know how that ends, right? But the catch is that the guy who gets killed was a cop, right? So yeah, this show is basically making cops be the victims now, right? So it's nobody, no other citizens in the town. It's all cops, right? So you can kind of tell where the show going, right? So yeah, so eventually other cops just keep getting killed, right? So conveniently, while all this is going on now, another deputy by the name of William Schenk, who is played by Max Minghella, shows up, right? And yeah, we typical cop cliche shit. I don't want a partner, you know what I mean? I work alone, and why you give me a partner, right? Speaking of cliche, they even have the cliche angry boss, the,
Yeah,
the
of course.
angry captain, right?
But a woman
Yes,
this
here's a woman this time, right?
yeah.
A Latina, you know what I mean, woman, but it doesn't matter because it's the same old same, right? Oh, you're a poor excuse for a cop, and blah blah blah, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And then
handed your badge and your gun, you idiot. Yeah.
yeah, all that, right?
Yeah.
And then even Zeke himself is just so unlikable at this point because he's going through a divorce, and
Right.
he's telling Max's character, you know what I mean? Oh, don't expect to have a long-term marriage when you're a cop, and I'm gonna tell you why. Blah 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 blah. It's like, oh gosh, like we get, right? But yeah, basically these two just kind of ride around town, basically trying to investigate these murders, and yeah, it's just cop after cop going, and then it even well, oh yeah, I forgot to mention too, Samuel Jackson plays Zeke's dad, and there's a backstory involving him trying to expose crooked cops as well too, and it's kind of like his son intervening, and that's the reason why he get singled out as his Ratner, right? And yeah, it all kind of leads to what went on there, and I'll stop, right? So yeah, good. It is good, right? The good is it's very, very, very well made. Like compared to the Saw films that I saw, this one really felt like they put money into it. Like this
Yeah.
looks really, really good. Like it's not the low budget stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean it's a far departure from what we got before, which makes sense because this didn't come out for Halloween, and I don't think that we're gonna be getting sequel after sequel out of this. Like, please, dear God, I hope we don't. But yeah, I mean because we don't have to worry about putting these things out annually. You know what I mean? They could put some money, right? So it looked good, right? So that's how you get guys like Chris Rock and Samuel Jackson being this, right? Speaking of Chris Rock now, his character by wow, so because it's Chris Rock, and you kind of know going in that it had to be this way, but they just went so off the rails with this thread. He couldn't just be a cop in this show. He also had to be a comedian as well. I'm not saying as a character, but I
I
mean,
hear that was the problem. I hear
yeah,
he's dropping, he's doing the stand up.
yeah, he has to drop jokes, 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 jokes every so often. when he comes into the show, he's dropping this whole comedy bit about Forrest Gump and
Yeah.
all this shit that he had to do to impress this girl, and by the time she ended up getting with him, she had AIDS, right? That's a joke, ha 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 ha,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And what if he's not dropping jokes? He's being an asshole. He's being a dick. You know what I mean? He's shouting at his peers because, oh, y'all don't trust me. Well, fuck you and all that kind of stuff. And it's just that throughout, right? At times he does kind of dial it back and tries to be normal, right? Tries to act and be dramatic and all that kind of stuff, right? Which leads to another problem. And to be fair, right? I mean, Chris Rock, right? We love him as a comedian and all that kind of stuff, right? But when he tries to, when he's going for dramatic dread, he just so overacts it, boy. It comes off as just unintentionally funny.
Yeah.
And particularly like with his facial movements, like he will just like, I don't know, like twist his mouth a kind of way or open his eyes a kind of way. Like he just kind of slightly distorts his face a kind of way and it's meant to be dramatic, but it just looks so laughable, boy. You know what I mean? And it's just like, dude, like why you try to force the drama out? Just be natural, right? This is what Samuel Jackson does. You know, what I mean? Like there's moments where he is angry, where he is dramatic, where he will, he will be crass as well too, because it's Samuel Jackson. But he's being himself. He's not overthinking things. He just delivering the performance, right? But Chris Boy, I feel it's because there's like an added pressure on him because it's his first entry into horror, right? He just has to go out of his way, Dread, to try to convey these emotions, right? Like, dude, just dial it back. Okay, every time he just doing it, it just comes off laughable. This comes off like he just like and you can make the argument maybe it's the director who should have like helped him out though. A director, by the way, he worked on a couple. Actually, he worked on actually Saw 2, 3, and 4, the new ones that I actually did see, right? But
Right.
yeah, though, like I felt like I don't know, maybe it's bad direction or something like that, or maybe it's just Chris trying to show how dramatic his range could be,
Right.
but
Yeah.
it just looks terrible, right?
What's the last movie he did that he was trying to be serious? That movie where he was kind of doing the Woody Allen thing. What's the name of that movie again?
Um, Oh gosh, should I forget where it was though? But I know you talk about. I know you talk about. Yeah.
Right.
The one where he's the comic, but it's not a comedy. It's a drama
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
comedy. Yeah,
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
What's it? What is this way? Take something, not take two or something like that. I
Right.
can't remember the
Yeah.
name of it. Right? Yeah. Also, this whole idea of him with a partner and them driving through the streets and investigating murders. Seven again. And the
Yeah.
show as a
Right.
whole just feels like this 90s ripoff of of murder mystery shows like Seven, for example, right? Like just this year we got the little things, which was trying to go for Seven, right? That's with Rami Malek and
Right.
Denzel
Right. Right.
Washington.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
get this thing again, right? um as far as he kills themselves, right? Like, to be fair, right, the show is gory, right? Like it is gruesome, right? But unfortunately, though, it's not scary. And the reason being is that there's no tension to these things, right? It's
Yeah.
just you see characters suffering and, like body parts being ripped off or whatever it is. But there's no sense of tension. Like there's urgency, yes, but there's no tension, right?
Right.
And here's the problem, right? This is not me coming off as a fan of Saw, but for the ones that I saw, right? Here, the ones that I saw, haha, right? In terms of the traps themselves, like even though there was a time limit, right? There was a possible way for you to escape, It's just how far you willing to bleed to go, how much blood you willing to shed to escape, That's really what it is. So it's just a matter of your mindset at the moment. How far you willing to go? If you willing to lose a leg to escape, okay, cool. If you just have to think on the fly to escape, that's what it is, But with these traps, though, there's none of that. It's just, all right, oh, there's a chance you can make it, but it's just so slim, Dread. So literally, there's really no way out of it. Characters will suffer, but even if they try to escape, there's really no way out of it, Dread. So they just kind of die trying to escape, and it just kind of lessens the tension there. And then I feel like to me this kind of betrays the what Saw is about, right? Um, which literally is how much blood you're willing to shed to survive, right? But this one is just like, no, we'll give it a small chance, but it's too small, Dread. So characters just die, and this it just kind of happens. Just like, okay, well, I don't really care. They just die. It looks horrible, but I just don't care, and I'm not scared at all of this, right? And before we get to read it now, I have to get into spoilers for this one, right? There is a twist to this, and I won't lie to you, right? So, okay, so before we get to that twist, right? There's moments because of the humor, right? Because of the Chris Rock humor, right? There's even a moment literally involving him trying to find some drug dealer who may be involved, and he brings up this is some New Jack City shit right
Right,
here.
right, right.
I was just like, ugh. So we have a moment, as we've seen in like most '90s films or films involving drug dealers, where the character has to do like a drug buy and or a drug sell or whatever it is, right? And it leads to the character busting through a apartment door and trying to fight down the guy and having them at gunpoint. I'm like, wait, this is still a horror film? Are we watching a crime thriller? What's going on here, right? But we have that, right? So yeah, the show is so poorly toned, right? So you'll have gruesome violence, right? And then you have drama, and then you have humor. Then gruesome violence, then drama, and then humor, right? So it just does not fit at all, right? But I won't lie to you, the twists at the last 10 minutes of the show had me laughing. It is probably the dumbest twist of anything I have seen in a hurry, right? So I have
Wow.
to spoil this, guys. I mean,
Yeah.
sorry,
I
but
don't mind. I don't
you
mind if you
kind of
spoil.
go to the end, and I'll tell you what the reason is. But I had to spoil this strip because if I don't, you wouldn't understand why it's so funny, right? So I'm moving quick. So actually, the killer was Max Minghell's character. Da, 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 duh. Of course, it was him, right?
You're right. Right.
And the excuse is that he was a kid way back when when Samuel Jackson and a young Chris Rock at the time were doing this case that involving this crooked cop, and in the process, Max's dad got killed, right? So from since 12 years old, according to him, right? His quest was to get back at the same crooked cops who caused his father to get killed, right?
Right. Right.
So he picked the cops one at a time, right? And he killed them off, right? Even the captain was involved too, and she get killed in a really gross way as well, right? But the last person is, of course, Samuel Jackson's character, right? So he is suspended on like wires, right? And they bring up this thing and oh my god, right? So remember in the old films you have the sort of puppet character kind of thing, the kind of weird little
Yeah.
puppet character who's be
Right.
riding the bike thing. But they kind of do a weird version of that, but it's actually like a puppet on a string. So they do the whole puppet theater, right? And he
Right.
actually brings it up and it's like, oh, remember earlier when you say puppet theater, blah, 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 right? So they do the whole, saw twist where we have to show back moments, right? And oh, remember when you see this hard, right? And all that kind of stuff, right? To some people, they would see the twist coming a mile away, but I was like, okay, I hope with a movie like this, they don't do some dumb shit like this and they actually do it, right? So the trap basically involves well basically it involves the Ezekiel and his dad, right? So Ezekiel have a choice. He can either go again, he could try to stop Max, right? Or try to save his dad, right? But Max so Max at first saying, well, sorry, so William, I should say, basically saying, what, you could join me, man, and we could get rid of all these crooked cops, man, and all that kind of stuff, right? But Ezekiel eventually decided, what, here's what, I had to see my dad, right? So yes, it's a fist fight takes place and in the elevator and they fight all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, though, the SWAT team shows up, right? So the SWAT team comes up, the tension building up and all that kind of stuff, right? And Samuel Jackson's character is just like, you know what? Don't worry about me. Go and stop him and all that kind of stuff there because he actually is safe, right? He actually got shot from one of the wires, right? But then as the police shows up though, because they're trying to saw their way basically into the room, the kill room basically, the wires reactivate again, right? So Samuel Jackson is suspended again, right? So by the time now that Chris Rock realizes what's going on now, he leaves Max now and he runs inside the room now to try and save his dad. At the
Right.
same time now, the SWAT team comes in now and they have, well, they aiming at him now. They aiming at Samuel because they don't know what's going on, right? And then no, because the way how he's suspended, it looks like he's standing up now, like he's on the ground, right? But he's standing up, right? And then attached to to the side of his arm now, it has something like a little object that looks like a gun, right? So because his arm is suspended on wires now, his arm lifts up now. And the SWAT team look at it like, oh my god, he has a gun! Fire! And they shoot at him. And all this going on now with the saw music going on, and then this ends with Chris Rock going, no! And all that kind of stuff there. The reason why I was laughing at this, right? So for one thing, the twist is so bad, right? And just how they just detail it, just had me in stitches, right? But they had the balls, right, to throw a slight little Black Lives Matter reference here. Because, oh wait, it's not just a black guy, it's a black guy with a gun. Let's fire at him. Blacka, 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 blacka. And it was so off-putting, right? And it was so shoehorned. I just couldn't help but laugh. It was one of the funniest things I have seen, and there's no reason behind it too. They just aimed at the guy because, oh my god, are you the killer? Huh, huh, huh. But like you don't know, and the man literally yelling, it's not me, or whatever, or basically tell his son run and all that kind of stuff, right? But as soon as homie lift the arm out, you see, oh, he has a gun, let's kill him, and it just ends there. And it kind of make you think that, oh, maybe this was what Chris Rock had in mind in terms of, oh, let's reinvent the Saw franchise. But here's what we're gonna do. We're really gonna touch on police brutality, and we're gonna touch about crooked cops and how they get away with murder and all that kind of stuff. Because at the heart of it, that's really the point of everything, right? But you don't have a character who's saying, well, I am a cop and I worked my way to becoming a cop now. And now I'm going to kill cops and be a killer now. And, now my plan is basically to go and kill every single crooked cop in this city, right? Because I'm Jigsaw now, right? It just makes no sense, right? The way how I describe it is not as funny as all that, right? But it's one of those things that if you suffer through the movie, which I highly suggest you don't, because of how serious, I think this is the reason why, because of how serious it played,
it
takes itself so serious, it's laughable. I probably would have been, if I saw this in theaters, right? I probably would have been the only man laughing at this shit, like swear to God. But Ricardo, trust me, it is one of the funniest things you will see all year. I would actually recommend watching that show. Watch it from start to end and tell me if that scene isn't unintentionally funny to you, Trent.
Right.
And because it's shoehorn the whole Black Lives Matter thing, it make it even funnier in my opinion, Trent, right? But as a whole, yes, folks, this is some bullshit, right? This is some terrible shit, right? But because of that one scene alone and how serious they play it and how I was just laughing at it, just from the reveal of who the killer is to the end, even when credits roll in and you hear 21 Savage's song, which by the way is a decent enough song because they actually working the Saw thing, the Saw team into it. Yeah. Because it's 21 Savage, right? The song dope, right? Not the greatest song ever, but dope, right? Will lie to you, even when that song was playing, I was laughing. I was laughing, Trent. It was so bad. So because he ended make me laugh, I have to give this a 1.5 out of 5 stars.
Right.
That shit is crazy, right? Yes. It like it is one of the most unintentionally hilarious things I've seen this year, though. And I would say as a whole, this film is one of the most unintentionally hilarious movies I've seen this year. It borders on so bad it's good, Trent. This is gonna have this is gonna have longevity for sure, Trent. Particularly us down here with our bad movie lives, bad movie lives. Sorry, but yeah, this is one of those bad movies that you just had to watch shit-faced Dread, and you're just gonna be laughing at how serious they take themselves, because they really take things serious here, but in the worst ways. And to be fair, the Saw franchise always did that, boy, but because you want to add the social context to things and try to be contemporary, it just makes it look so painfully awkward, Dread. And I mean, sorry to Chris Dread. Like, I know he really wanted to make his name known with this way. But the idea of making this thing this 90s murder mystery,
that's the problem.
Body cop throwback thing,
exactly.
didn't work at all. And it clashes so much. Sorry, it clashes so much with this gruesome violence, which admittedly, and I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm a jaded motherfucker, maybe. but none of this did anything for me. Like when it was a thing back when the first movie came out in like what 2006. All right, okay, sorry, 2004. It's like all right, well, sorry, 2003 or 2004. I think it's 2004. Like all right, okay, but now in 2021 is like really, Dread. Like none of this worked for me, Dread. So yeah, unintentionally hilarious. This was a terrible movie.
Yeah, the movie.
I can't even recommend this if you are a fan of the Saw series. But I guess if you are a fan, check it out though. But if you're looking for something new or some kind of fresh modern take on this, no, okay, you're just gonna get just 90s throwback copy buddy cop bullshit with murder mystery and just this terrible twist, man. So yeah, skip this one.
Yeah, as in the movie I'm trying to remember, it's top 5.
Yes, top 5.
Right, same problem is that you try that thing, but it already dated by then, so it just come across as derivative. Yeah, you had to jump the you had to leap the frog, as they say, if you want to get ahead of the stuff. So whatever.
Exactly. I don't know if this could be the last of seeing Chris Rock do a horror. I think it should be.
Right.
But I really hope that this is the last we see of this franchise, but because sorry, this died years ago, and this was when the franchise was still going on. It was dead, right? They even killed Jigsaw and tried to figure out ways to make the story go on, and it was dead. It was dead already, Dread. And this is another reminder of why this franchise should just stay dead, Dread, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, speaking of horror, so you give it a rating 1.5 out of 5. Well, I just read this news now. Speaking of horror, Tales from the Hood host Clarence Williams III has passed.
Yes, I saw that. Well, prior to us meeting up here, for me, he will always stand out as the host of the cult classic, and I stand by that. Tales from the Hood. I'll always love his "Welcome to Hell." Motherfuckers.
I know him as the joke is I know him as he was one of the bad guys in Dave Chappelle. Remember that weed movie he had? That stupid weed movie, Half-Baked.
Half-Baked, yes.
He was in that, yeah.
Yes, he was in that.
He was in that.
Half-Baked is a cult classic too, but it's a 420 cult film.
Yeah, it's a movie I call why is called it, boy? As make the joke. It's I am 14 and this is funny. That's what it is. I am 14, this is funny movie. The 90s had that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's a product of its time. Yeah. It's 98 humor, but if you're into stoner comedies, watch that. But yeah, I mean Clarence Williams III, man. Yeah, I heard that news, like I said. Didn't know that he was in the original Mod Squad series. That's a show I really
Mod Squad, I remember that show.
Yeah, and I mean, like he just I know he just started so much films, man. Right? But I mean, just another loss. I will make the effort to seek out more films that he started, not just Tales from the Hood, because I saw that numerous times. But yeah, man. I mean, rest in peace to Clarence Williams III, man.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Matthew Bailey, and I hope you've enjoyed this segment of the BS Beats and Bailey podcast. If you'd like to hear the full episode, hit up my link tree. On the other side of my head are 2 videos you can check out. Like this video if you like it, feel free to subscribe and hit the bell as well. Thanks for listening, and until the next one, take care, peace.